Started. Cool. Sounds good. Well, everyone, this is Christina. Some of you met her yet, some of you haven't. We met her a little while back. She hopped into one of these and we were like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. And that's like kind of what this community is about. Bringing people that are already at EXP together that care about sustainability, green real estate, et cetera. And that's what these Eco-Symposiums are hopefully attracting. So that's how we found Christina. We're like, oh my gosh, you are in Hawaii and you care about this stuff and you're awesome and you're really involved. We want to have you part of this community. So that's how this got started. She has a lot of titles on her resume. And so I'm not going to try and list all them. So I'm going to let her do that because I don't want to mess any of them up. But she's got a really impressive resume and very involved. And I think we can all learn a lot from her. So thank you, Christina.
Hi, guys. So let's see. I'm usually doing the interviews with someone else or doing moderations for people. But now I guess I'm going to do a little presentation here. So I'm going to change on over to this here really quick. Let's see. Oh, I don't see I think I have to go to this one. Hold on.
There we go.
Okay. Can you guys see the screen and it's like in the presentation mode?
It's not in presentation. I mean, like we can see, it doesn't look like when you showed it to me earlier, I should say.
You know what? Let me just see if I had to reopen that again.
Like we can see like the PowerPoint stuff before I could just see like your screen.
How do I get out of this? Okay. I think I have to share a different. Maybe. Oh, here we go. It's different from Zoom. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about now?
There we go. That's better.
Okay. So I can't really see myself and all of you guys. So just like holler if you guys have questions along the way or something. Perfect. So basically back in 2017, I had a client that was very interested in helping and meshing my Smart Living Hawaii brand, which was really just a marketing part of my real estate with the things that I like to do in Hawaii. And with the company that he was starting that were going to be small footprint living ADUs. And so they were like, oh, let's do an event and let's, kick yours off and we'll do it at our sales center. And we wanted to launch podcasts, right? And I had to pick 5 podcasts. They did this whole thing and it all came out to where I started, selecting 5 different people to interview across the islands and focus on all these different topics. And because of that, I started getting into sustainability because I had someone from Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii, which was focused on plastics in the ocean. I had someone from affordable housing. I had someone from farming. I had someone from, all these new innovative health, exercise things. And anyways, it turned out to be a very eye-opening beginning of myself going down the sustainable rabbit hole. So with that, I did those 5, and after those 5, it was very expensive to do them the way they did it. So I ended up saying, well, I want to continue this, and I started doing a podcast continuation, but I just bought a Yeti mic, and I started recording and just interviewing different people in the sustainable world in Hawaii. And so now I'm into over 70 podcasts and learning all about sustainability in all these different facets that the state focuses on, and very separate from real estate when I started this in 2017. So because of that, real estate wasn't really tied into a lot of these things like it is now. And I separated it and created a nonprofit. So I have a Smart Living Hawaii nonprofit foundation. Because I would wear my Smart Living Hawaii Foundation hat when I was with a whole bunch of nonprofit groups. And then on the other side, I would just do my real estate. In these past 7 years, there's been a lot of integration with both. And that's kind of what I'm going to share after I, just kind of briefly say. So this is our nonprofit. And our real mission is to help Hawaii become self-sustainable through collaboration. So these are the areas of focus. Hawaii is one of the first to start the 2045 Clean Energy Challenge, and to make sure that the state by 2045 is going to be all clean energy. And so we started this, and it became something where a lot of states started adopting it. And because of that, along with the sustainable goals that the state kind of implemented, it is becoming very tied into legislation and into where our funding is going as a state. So we have a lot of support on our ledge side, and we do have a lot of support. So the government and the community is really supporting us moving in this direction. And we really need to, because we're an island and we import 95% of everything. So we don't really have much of a choice. So this is kind of the area that I was really focused on. And at the time, it wasn't tied into real estate. And so my podcast is on the nonprofit side. That's really the most that I do with my nonprofit at the moment. I've been shelving it for the right opportunity, and hopefully someday soon it will tie into our real estate stuff. So these are the things that we usually do on nonprofit side. And now I'm just going to jump into what has happened over the 7 years and how it's tied into real estate. It's still new to a lot of people. As you guys know, we're kind of the few people that even focus on this. And because of that, it's less traction, less sales. But for the most part, what I do is still do my residential real estate, which I've been doing for almost 20 years. And I work with my mom, who's been doing real estate for 45. So I've always been focused on that as my career, but now we have this niche in covering a lot of these topics. So the areas of focus that when it comes to green, sustainable real estate, that, regenerative kind of real estate, I cover the green and sustainable build and design, high performance homes, farm and ag, affordable housing, and healthy and safe homes. So I kind of broke this down just for some of you. If you're in this space, you may just be like a green designation and maybe focus more on the energy efficiency side. But what I've realized is that it's to be a green realtor and regenerative, everything's very holistic. And if you really want to build a community, you want to build a home, you're looking at all of these things eventually. And a lot of the things that are here that we focus on in all these spaces is very, I would say it's trend setting of where we're going, where we're headed. So a lot of high performance homes are going to have a lot of this in them. And I feel like the regular demographic in the mid-range, like everything will start to follow suit just because of where we're headed with design and build and green build codes and everything with our country. So these are just some other things too on energy efficiency that we kind of look at. It's very different from here in Hawaii compared to other states. I'm having a mentor partnership with someone in Ohio, and she does stuff there. And I learned a lot about what it's like with snow, because I don't deal with snow at all. But it's very interesting to see the different types of energy efficiency that people need in different, climates. So, but I can always share everything that we have in Hawaii for sure. We also have a lot of off-grid net zero type of homes here, because I live in Oahu, which is a very big city island where we have, majority of the people and all the high rises and downtown and everything. So it's very metropolitan urban core. But on the neighbor islands, like the Big Island especially, there's a lot of places that just don't have water, don't have electricity. You could buy land for really cheap, and a lot of people just like pop up, something off grid that doesn't need to be permitted. That's just kind of like a little home. And so a lot of these on the Big Island, which we also service the Big Island as well, for our team, is that, you're looking at a lot of these systems, and then you can be totally off the grid. On Oahu, you could be off the grid, but you still have to be connected in to HECO, which is our electric company for the most part, but not everywhere is like that in the neighbor islands because they just don't have hookups everywhere. So these are some of the things that people are looking towards and looking at depending on, what they're wanting to do. These two photos on the bottom right here and the bottom areas, there's this living building challenge home of my friend Aaron Ackerman. I did a podcast with him. It is an amazing home of what he's done here in Hawaii. He's still working on the home as we speak. And he lives there with his family and his kids. And there's a link for him. It's totally worth checking out. He's won all these awards with Viopsy and in all this with what he's done. But he's almost to completion on this house, and it's amazing. It's probably the most stringent kind of designation you can get on your home is the Living Building Challenge. If you don't know about it, I can definitely share more. Let's see. We have the more of like the agrihood communities and gardens and food growing now that I feel is the one piece to a lot of the green build that hasn't been implemented yet. We don't have anything like that here. And that's kind of been my mission, is to really work with net zero builders in the mainland and bring them to Hawaii and then get them to add farms to their communities. And then it would, to me, be fully sustainable if we can have like that regenerative farm attached to the community. Here in Hawaii, like I said, we import 95% of everything and our food. And if the ships stop coming, like, we will be screwed. I mean, we will be like, it'll be like the apocalypse, so these are the kinds of things that I'm thinking on the side of, the state of Hawaii and our sustainability. But at the same time, I'm realizing that a lot of this lays like hand in hand with our livelihood and the way we live. And now more people are starting to think this way. They're wanting to do a lot of these things and wanting to implement them into their homes or their communities. So trying to find a way to make this equitable and, financially possible for all, everybody in Hawaii, and not just high performance homes living in beautiful like ag communities. So that's our challenge, and that's what I've been working on lately. The last piece to a lot of this, which has been, drawing a lot of attention to people, is just the health and wellness of the homes that they're living in, especially with the wildfires and, COVID and just everything in general, clean air, things like that. There's a lot of this now that has been taken precedence and trends in what people are wanting for their home. A lot of kids now, and that maybe we didn't have as many allergies back in the day, but now we do. A lot of kids have asthma and just whatnot, and a lot of these things are the things that the parents are most concerned about. So this type of part of being a green realtor is also a way that you can help your clients too. So last, this is for us. I don't know what it's like in every county and city across the country, but we have some zoning for ag here, and we have a lot of ag, and it's not being used because it used to be land that was sugarcane and pineapple grown, and now it's just feral. Like, there's nothing there. There's just tall California grass, and well, let's just say that's kind of how the Maui fires took off. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done to help manage this and figure out how we're going to work with the ag land that we have. And so they're starting to get creative and opening doors for us to partner with ag land if we're doing affordable housing. And there's just different things that are coming to the table that we are able to start utilizing this to, hopefully, in my goals is to really make these agrihood communities that we want to do and make it more feasible for affordable housing kind of products. And last but not least, affordable housing. So I'm tying all this together because I think we all need to be able to live in Hawaii, regardless on if you're houseless, in transitional housing. These are all different ways that, housing for everyone I don't know how it is in every state, but these are the programs that we have in the different like kind of levels. And I've worked on and partnered with different companies and different nonprofits and been on boards throughout the years that work with homelessness, and then finding ways to, like this right here of this tent picture is a picture right on Diamond Head. And if you know Diamond Head, it's one of the most expensive places to live in Hawaii. And it sits right on Diamond Head on the water. And they have the prime view, these people that are houseless, but there's no bathrooms. There's so much trash. Like so much of the community is cleaning up after the homeless because they just set up shop wherever, like wherever they want to live. And it's gotten a little bit, out of control, and, it's been a problem, but it's getting worse. So these are the types of things that we need to help within our communities, and, being able to, a lot of it is mental health and drug addiction for a lot of these people, to where, they're not able to go into shelters and transitional housing and utilize the programs that the government offers them. So, there's a lot of that kind of issues that we need to work on as a state. But from that point, when we're able to get them to, secured housing to where they have the shelter long term, then we're able to, continue on through, the people that then have rental programs and subsidies, and then senior housing, then workforce housing, which is, where people are purchasing workforce housing that are lower price points, and then reserved housing, which is also like usually for first time home buyers, and that's also home purchase. So like this building up here, for example, there's a lot of buildings that are being built. They have a lot of reserved housing for first-time home buyers. And I work on programs like that as well to get people into a lot of the buildings that they wouldn't otherwise afford to. So that's kind of, I know it's a broad spectrum of, areas of focus. And I think a lot of people getting into this space of, green, it's overwhelming. I've just been doing it for 7 years and focused on these things, and it's expanded to that for my expertise. But I feel like I wanted to pivot this to hopefully this be something for maybe people that are getting into this space, or they're very passionate about this space and they don't know how to integrate it into their business. So that's the second part that I wanted to share, is that after I explained all these different ways that, are hitting this space of like the climate action group and network, choosing a few of these things, or maybe just even, out of this list here, like which ones resonate most with you, and then focus on that, just to start, versus trying to learn all of these individually and being an expert in all of it. Like it's taken me a long time and over 70 podcasts, and every podcast I do, I have to do research and educate myself so I don't sound like a ding dong talking to somebody that's an expert in their field. So it does take time, but just a little bit at a time for people that are just getting into this, whichever resonates with you the most, it's you're most passionate about. I say start there and really dive into that sector first, and then be an expert in that space for your clients, and know like a lot of these things, but not the expert side of things until you kind of like mastered it. But here is some things that I've done, and it might be helpful for you guys. You might want to, jot some things down or look into some of these in your neighborhoods or your towns, because some of them are national or international, and some of them you might just need to find someone similar in your region. So great ways to be connected with people that aren't in real estate is in all of these spaces, I would feel. So for me, these SDGs, anytime the United Nations is tied to anything, if you see any events or programs or, nonprofits that tie into the SDGs, it would be a very good group of people that will resonate with you well. So I would definitely always look for that. This is a big one for me because I was one who helped start our Eco Rotary Club in Hawaii. So we're the first Eco Rotary Club in Hawaii and one of the first in the world. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Rotary. Most people are. If you are, you may be a Rotarian, but you know, having an eco club, we're just focused on the environment, sustainability, climate action, and that's really all we do. And every project that we do ties into that in some shape or form. And so everybody that joins our club, we have a lot of younger members. A lot of Rotarians are probably closer to the baby boomer age, but our club, I'm like one of the older ones. We are heavily on social media. You can check at Eco Rotary on Instagram if you want to like kind of look at some of the stuff we do. But this is an opportunity for you to be involved with the community and focus on the environment, and also make friends with a whole bunch of people who really are passionate about this space and doing good work for the community, and you know, be putting yourself out there in that space to where, you know, hanging your hat as a realtor, you know, at the end of the day, it's like it does help someone, you know, of course, if you have the similar beliefs and what you want to, you know, are passionate about, then they maybe hopefully will, you know, choose to work with you and things like that. So that's a big space that if you want to look into, there's probably around 40 clubs international wise now for Eco Rotary. And I've made a lot of connections nationally and internationally through this club because of that group. And Rotary does also have, if you're not a Rotarian, you can join the SREG, which is the, they have a, it's called the Environmental Sustainable Rotary Action Group. And that group, you actually can join without being a Rotarian. But there's a lot of Rotarians in that group, and they're international wise as well, which is really cool because EXP is international, and to make these kind of ties and, you know, kind of have these connections internationally is always a very unique thing to do, because you're going to be meeting people like around the world. There's like 1.5 million Rotarians, and it is international as well. So it's a really good outlet for you to build, you know, really solid relationships with people as well. Let's see. Healthy Home Magazine is what you're going to see if you look at any of my social media. And if you go to my website, I've partnered with Sheila. I don't think she's on. She did have a call, but she might jump on late. And I really would love to get her on as a guest speaker down the road. But she started this magazine. They put it out every month. It's amazing. It covers almost all of these topics that I've mentioned. And, you know, it's kind of one of those things where you can add it to your social media. You can, you know, also share this magazine in your newsletters, and it's all digital. You can even order the magazine for your clients, like physically if you want to, but I don't do that. There's just so many things they offer on the social media platforms as well, to where it'll help brand you in this space. So yeah, I don't want to talk anymore because I know we'll have her come and speak at some point. But yes, US Green Building Council, I just joined them last year. I'm with their mentor program right now currently. If you don't have your NAR green designation, I would highly suggest doing that right away and get your 12 CE credits for your, you know, that you need anyways for continued education. That one is a great way to just start connecting with people that are across the country in the screen space. I've spoke, so AIA for the architects side of things, it's called, is it called they have a green group now, and they have one here in Hawaii. Forget what it's called. It's COTE, COTE. That's the name of it. They have and it's focused on the environment, and they have monthly meetings. So I helped moderate one of them before, and it's all focused on the environment and the way they're building now and the design that they're doing. So being connected with architects that are focused on, you know, sustainable builds is also a great place to go to and partner with. For I would imagine every area that does solar will have like a lot of this one has the Hawaii Solar Energy Association. So there's usually an association for a lot of you know, in your region, if you do solar a lot in your area, like California, for example, or Florida. So, you know, you can connect with the actual associations where all of the solar companies come together and usually are a part of. That's another way to kind of tap into you know, being in front as a realtor, but it's not a realtor space. Um, this wastewater alternatives and innovations is actually focused on helping Hawaii eliminate their cesspools. And they have a legislative side to it for their bills that we put out every year. And I work on their kind of like a liaison on the realtor side and just kind of give them feedback from realtors for a lot of the bills that they're working on, and to be, you know, kind of like in between, you know, sustainable initiatives and in the realtor community, as they're often butting heads. So if you can kind of get in the middle of that and be a buffer, as in a like a positive pro realtor for a lot of these groups that maybe fight against real estate. It happens a lot because of money wise, but that helps too, to help craft bills that will actually be successful for everybody, not just you know, conservation, preservation, and sustainable climate side, but also for the realtor community, so we can actually sell homes. So yeah, this is kind of the areas that you can look for in your regions, and be connected. Again, I've been doing this for some time, so I've gotten into all these spaces. But I would, if you're just getting started, I would start like on one that you're passionate about, and probably whatever you're passionate about, like I said in the beginning, then go to that group that, you know, focuses on that, and start there. Like, trying to tackle a whole bunch at once is going to just be overwhelming, and then you're going to probably not do anything. That's on the green designation and our climate action group. And then these are just ways that I get involved within the community over my years. So even with my church, I do a lot with outreach, and they aren't doing so much with the environment, and I'm trying to integrate that and farming into our church, because I think it's really important. Because at the end of the day, if we're able to farm, and if I can get them to get a farm, then they're being able to, like some churches here now are doing that, and they're actually growing food and then providing food for the community, which is amazing. So I want to kind of move in that direction with our church. My foundation, I don't know, you guys probably all have board of realtors. Get involved with your board of realtors. I was for a region, or East Oahu region, I was chair for like 3 years, and I worked with them for about 3 to 4 years. And, you know, we brought guest speakers every month, and, you know, I was running this for, you know, our region. And there's ways to bring in interesting people that focus on the environment and green guest speakers, whether it's cesspools or whether it's energy and solar. Like, there's just a lot that you can do for the realtor community. That you know, green education for them is, I think, key. And now that I'm with EXP, I mean, I didn't feel like I was wasting my time doing it, but now that we are in this space where you're working for a company that, you know, incentivize us to work with realtors, this is a great opportunity that if you do have expertise in this space where a lot of realtors don't, to be that go-to realtor for a lot of this stuff in the green space. And then they come to you, or if you start, you know, potentially wanting to teach green designation classes, it'd be a great opportunity for you to to do that as well. Greening your MLS. There is actually a whole format for that you get from the green designation, that you can go to your MLS and say, hey, can we implement this into our MLS? And I've tried that at ours, but they've only taken a couple things. So over time, they'll probably add things, but it's something that you can always propose to your MLS board. Catholic Charities Hawaii is just another nonprofit that I was a board member of, and they do focus on affordable housing and homelessness. So there's a lot in that space that I've been very active in. So
It looks like we have a couple of questions before we get
sure.
And I think Sheila is in here, by the way. So we got Sheila, and then I think Nelson and Kristen all have questions. Maybe we can stop there before we keep going.
Okay, let me stop sharing really quick.
Cool. Yeah, you're good.
Do I go? Oh, here we go.
I go?
Yeah, so there.
Yeah, hi. Wow, you have had a really good, thorough involvement in very important things over the last 7 years and really made a dent. And I certainly admire that in you. And I think it's really important. I have been, I'm not an active Rotarian right now, but I have been a member of a Rotary Club for several years. My brother-in-law got me in, and he's still in. It's been 30 years. We were meeting every week at a country club and having a guest speaker most days. But it seems like it would be a harder climb to get people to join an eco weekly meeting in the city and get a good amount of people. Do you do this in person, or do you do this virtually, your meeting?
So we do it hybrid. So we meet once a month with a guest speaker. And that one, we do have it in person, but it's also hybrid, like we record it and we're doing it like this, like on a Zoom. So that one ends up being like, some people will jump in online and then some people will come and it's just like a potluck. And that one's located in a very central location in Kaka'ako. So a lot of people that are in town, like they come to it. We don't have, I mean, some Rotary clubs have been around for like, I don't know, 100+ years. So they have like, I don't know, 100, 200 members. Like it's crazy, right? So our club started right before COVID. And it's very interesting because during COVID, a lot of Rotary clubs died out big time because a lot of the service projects they were doing were with the kapuna, which are the seniors, and then also the keiki, which are the kids, and in schools. So that just completely stopped. A lot of people didn't know what to do with the Rotary clubs. They weren't wanting to meet. They couldn't meet. And a lot of them are, baby boomer age, and they just really didn't want to do anything in person. So our club was very different. We had a lot of young people just eager to like go do stuff, and everything we're doing was outdoors. So very quickly we were allowed to do almost all of our service projects because it was outdoors and environmental based. So a lot of clubs started adopting the things we were doing and working with us on our projects, and it just really took off from there. So it's growing exponentially. There's a club in Maui that, they were a club for many years. They became an eco club because of it. And it's attracting a lot of new members and young people. So yes, being on social media and like a lot of people that join our club, they don't even know what Rotary is. So they're just young and want to serve in the environmental space. So
Love that. Cool. Who wants to go next? Sheila, Kristen?
I don't know who was first.
I don't know either.
There was a queue, but I don't know.
I just wanted to say hi, I was here. I appreciate you mentioning me. Yeah, thank you.
So Sheila, maybe you're the one I want to talk to. I was looking at that healthy home magazine. I subscribe. Well, I have personalized a magazine from Reminder Media, and I was just wondering if that was for the Reminder Media
Yeah, so when I was an agent, I did their Start Healthy, and I just felt like it was kind of generic, and they really wanted me to use it as a tool to say, hey, I'm sending you this magazine to reach out and connect to people. And I just didn't feel like, I felt like, hey, I've given you some junk mail. Would you like to talk to me? That's kind of how I felt. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this better. Because at the time I was having a podcast and reaching out to healthy home professionals and learning all about this stuff. So I thought I'll create a better magazine, and it'll have like actual tips on how to create a healthy home. So I started it about 3.5 years ago. And the first magazine was Wellness RE, which is Wellness Real Estate Magazine. And I thought it could be a tool for agents to differentiate themselves as a wellness focused realtor and be able to have that conversation with people, like, how are you different? Because if the only conversation is how's the market, or what's going on in lending right now, it's just, who wants to have that conversation if you're not ready to move? And everybody knows like 10 agents. So it's kind of like, you can't just have that conversation to be talking about your business. And so wellness real estate, which is actually a new trend, it's worth $275 billion according to the Global Wellness Institute. It's projected to be worth, I think, $850 billion by 2027. It's forward-thinking developers who are building these agri-hood communities and naturehood communities and other just intentionally designed communities that are designed to support healthy living. And they're popping up all over the country. And I thought, wow, why aren't realtors talking about this more? Because most people can't live in those communities, right? But everyone deserves to live in a healthy home. So that's kind of where it all stemmed from. And now I have 3 covers. I have Healthy Home and I have Wellness at Home. And that's all the same magazine, but I have experts that write the articles. And there are things from, I have a building biology expert and a wellness architect, color psychologist, eco designers, feng shui experts, all sorts of people that are trying to educate the world already on how to create a healthy home. And they're all in the magazine. And it ends up being a tool that, especially if you have the printed issue and you're doing an event or at a local event where you can actually connect and talk to people, if you use that as a tool and it's branded to you, and then you're able to say, look what's going on in our industry. I mean, wellness is everywhere, and it's also in real estate. And isn't that exciting? And so I'm trying to be a different kind of agent. I want to be your connector for everything home. I'm expanding my knowledge and my network of professionals. Most agents just have transactional related people. And this is really a way for you to broaden that network so you can know who the best HVAC person is for recirculating your air ventilation now that all the homes are being really airtight, right? And water quality. Maybe you have, the best water filtration expert in your community. Maybe an eco designer. It just gives you an opportunity to think outside of the box and make new connections that most realtors aren't making, and to have those conversations. So when people say, what do you do for a living? Your answer isn't, I'm a realtor. It's, how, you can start with a problem, whatever problem you're focused on, but how people are getting sick and they're realizing that it's not just diet and exercise. The home environment plays an important role. So I'm a wellness focused realtor, and I make, expanding my knowledge and network to connect with healthy home professionals. And I, leave healthy home tips on my Instagram or my Facebook, and then people will be like, oh my gosh. And everybody that speaks that way about themselves have new followers join them all the time. And that's the goal.
Cool. I'm very interested. I don't want to divert this whole conversation too much, but I'd love to connect with you. I'd like to see more about your magazine and maybe transition from the Reminder Media, which is, it's attractive, but it is very trend oriented, and I want to be more environmental oriented. So thank you for that information. And I'll drop my email in the chat so you can send me your contact info.
Great. Well, and you can just go to healthyhomemedia.com too and check it all out. Sorry, I could go on rant. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far off the original topic here.
And Sheila, give her that discount for her.
Okay,
yes, I will. And if you, I have
actually, if you wouldn't mind putting it in the chat, because that'll
help. Christina, you know what it is, right? I think it's
Is
like
it-
Sly something. I forget.
Yeah,
I'd have to
believe
check.
that. Let me look it up and then I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, but I did have another question, and I'm sorry if this is taking away too much time from your presentation, Christina. But going back to the homelessness issue on Diamond Head, and that's really representative of what's happening across the nation with homelessness. And I know that the goal is to try and find shelters and rehoming a lot of the homeless or houseless. Unhoused, I know, is the new the new
Yeah, from homeless to, I mean, I think a lot of people like I guess they've been saying unhoused is what you're saying, but now I mean, a lot of people say like houseless because they don't currently have a house,
Right.
but they have a home, right? So
right, yeah. So I wonder, what is the motivation for a person who's set up camp on this gorgeous mountainside with the best views that anybody could ever want, and obviously it's an eyesore for all of us that are looking at that, but they are just like, this is the best place I could ever live. Why would I want to go to a shelter? Why would I want to go to a mini house or a shed that's been, like what is the conversation that you have with people who are set up in camps that are, outdoors, and they're living their best life in their mind, and the rest of the community is like, we don't really want you in the most beautiful places because it's kind of an eyesore with all of the homes, the trash, the sewage,
Well,
all of that.
no, yeah. So there's several things that go on. Like just recently we do the Pearl Harbor bike path cleanup every 6 months, right? And so there along this path, it should just be a really nice bike path that runs along the harbor and it runs along the water, and then you could ride it and go all the way 5 miles down and back, and it should be safe. Okay, so
Right.
it's not. And it's not safe because the homeless, there's the people that are there. And it's not that everybody that's, set up with a homeless, encampments are going to attack you, or it's going to be a problem, or they're doing criminal activity, but a lot are. And the thing is, our state for the most part can actually accommodate a lot of those that are houseless, that was not able to make their payments. They're living out of their car. They have their kids, they're single mom, they've been abused. Like, there's things for them as long as they meet the requirements when they go in. They need to not be on drugs. They can't, there's just no illegal activity. There's just these things that make it, like a hindrance for them to, walk through that door and take this, that we're offering them. And so that's where it becomes a problem. Having the police department, every day, they're arresting the same people over and over again. People are arrested hundreds of times. And it's usually that, they have mental illness and they are off their medication, or they have, a drug problem and they're on drugs, and either they're coming down or they're looking. There's just so much criminal activity that takes place. And because of that, it makes those encampments more dangerous. And so the incentives for these people is more like, what's really going to solve this problem, to be honest, is helping them with their mental health issues and the drug addiction. Like, everybody, I mean, there's nobody that's going to say that, well, I take that back. There are people that are fine living in a tent, with no running water or a bathroom, and they're okay with that, but very few are like that. Most people have gotten into a situation where this is their only option. And so that's why I say it's like, there will be a few people, like my dad goes to this one beach and it's out in the west side, and there are homeless people there. There's this one guy, his family he has two places he could live with his family in a house, but he chooses to live on the beach, right, in the Kaha area, right, that side. And my dad has befriended him and he sees him every day. He's one of his friends. He goes and hangs out. He takes care of that beach, actually. He keeps it clean. He gets the riffraff away and he lives there. Just by choice. But then every now and then there will be groups that will come in and try to do their encampments, and they're on drugs, like they're on ice, and it's dangerous, and they're doing all this illegal activity, and it's right where everybody goes to the beach. So then it's like you're calling the police department, getting them swept out, and having to work on all of that. So it's more of that, which is the biggest concern. Because they're not in their right state of mind at any point to where they're going to take care of their land or be respectful or, maybe hurt people. So that's what we're facing. And those are the incentives is really to find a way to get to them to a place where they can get the help that they need mentally, I feel.
Yeah. I think it's a challenge in every community. We have similar situations with recreation trails that, their intention was to allow families and students. We're a college town. So, to be able to have that commute on a bike and walk your dog and all of those things. And it's become dangerous, and they do clean outs like you guys mentioned, or that you mentioned. But there's so many people that are just perfectly happy living in the creek and or living, outside, and it makes it really challenging to address, the unhoused homeless situation in those areas. So,
and they're not happy where it's dangerous if there's a woman that has to live like houseless in that situation. It's very dangerous for them. It's not an ideal. You're not, even if you are looking at the ocean, it's not ideal. You're always worried about, your well-being and stuff. So a lot of it is like they've gotten into the situation, or they were sex trafficked, or something happened, to put them into this position. And it's like trying to help them. And, I'm much more involved with the community in this side as well. And this really, it's hard it pulls on my heart. So that's why I'm more passionate about it. But when it comes to real estate and the tie in there is, housing for everyone. Well, maybe, do you want me to just go back to my slides, or was there more questions? Because I kind of had
go back to your slides. You're good.
Talk about. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to bypass this part, but where did I?
Thank you, Shayla.
This is kind of some of the little tips that I had, but like really getting involved with the community when it comes to housing is something that our Honolulu Board of Realtors has done as well. Because when it comes to housing, it's like, when you think of a house, obviously you're thinking of real estate. So regardless on if it's, when you're giving back as a realtor, like giving back to the community when it comes to housing is where, that ties in. So it's like, you're thinking of like the homeless or those are unhoused, that's where we can give back, and so the other side, obviously on the green space, is that you're giving back to the environment. So there's just different ways that you personally can make that decision, what resonates with you, pulls on your heart, and like kind of dive into that community space. And I just wanted to end with these things that are kind of some things that like are takeaways that people can, focus on to help start their business in this niche. A green database and vendor list is huge if you just want to start putting one together for all of these types of things, and the people that you connect with, start building that vendor list that you can share with your clients. Because for the most part, everything that you do you know, as realtors, like you're just a referral for all these things. So then you can connect that way. I always now, like when people don't think that they're sustainable or that they're green or that they're even focused on any of that, I try to find some kind of connection with every client of mine. Sometimes they don't have solar, but solar is a good thing. So I'm finding a way to, you know, if I'm going to sell that house and it should have solar, then I'm pulling in a solar company and setting it up just like you do a financial, you know, you're working with a lender and a lender can provide you the financial sheets. It's like, well, you can have a solar person do the same for their house and show what it would be like if they leased or got a lease program or a purchased, PV system. There's just a lot of different ways to integrate yourself, and your green space into real estate now that, some of it's money and, where you can save budget wise, and some of it's health. Like if they really are concerned about the, health, some of it is they're really concerned about the environment. Some of it, they want to eat healthy, or they're gardeners, they're green. So it's just like unlimited opportunities now. It's just being able to connect with them on your client's level, because everybody's not going to care about all the stuff we care about. So I just find that commonality, and then be that expert for them and help them and give them and connect them with people in this space. And the Healthy Home magazine really helps. It's not just a magazine. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll see you can also, have her help with your social media side. And I think I talked about most of all these things already. So this is my family and our ohana, my husband and our 2 kids. And then my mom and my dad are on the bottom. The one that looks like Santa is my dad. And then my mom is on the left. She, I think, just jumped on too. So she's forced to do all this stuff too. Now that I'm totally into it. And then on the top right over here is another team partner, Ryan, who works with us as well. And we're expanding our team. He also works on the Big Island. He has a home there as well with his family. And so, our goal is to have green realtors across the state. And ultimately, I would love to be working with developers and finding them properties, and then them building these communities and then helping sell the communities as our team sales would sell for them. That's ultimately my goal. So yeah, does anybody have any other questions? This is my Instacart. If you want to easily connect, you can just scan right here and then it'll like send you all my info.
Take a picture of it. That was awesome. Thank you, Christina. Love that. That was such a good, like, thorough presentation and like all the things you do. And I could like listen to you talk all the time. So I want to go to your podcast now.
I have to admit, my podcast is not going to be like super professional in that sense, but like I don't edit anything like really. It's like I don't have time. Like it was a passion project, and I just put out one a month now. Like I'm always just like, oh my gosh, I got to do my podcast, because I just don't have the time for it. But hopefully one day I'll have somebody collect the whole thing and put it back out more professionally. But all in all, it's there, and the recording's there, and it's with all these different people. If anybody wants to connect with anybody on there, or if you see anybody on there that like maybe we could have as a guest, I can reach out to. So
yeah, I would love that. I would love that. Of all the things that you do, like, what do you think attracts the most like green-minded clients to your business? Like, where do you find the most green-minded clients?
I think the best is to go to my Eco Rotary. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of young people, but I am definitely still put it out there that I'm in this, in real estate. And I'm not saying that I don't think I've sold anything yet to anybody. They're really young, you know what I mean? And buying in Hawaii is very expensive.
Yeah.
But, getting connected with any organization that focuses on the environment, like even the Sierra Club, or just whatever clubs that you are passionate about that focuses on the environment, and just being in that space with that group of people. You know, there's sustainable coastline, Hawaii sustainable, what did I say? Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii. They are like a big, you know, beach cleanup group that is here in Hawaii. And that like nonprofit is so widespread, and they've got like thousands of people that come to do their cleanups and collect plastics and do all kinds of things. So it's like getting involved with big organizations and, you know, getting on boards, you know, helping with their committees, helping plan events that are in these spaces, that will then just kind of integrate you with the people that are, you know, really, if you get into the boards and then you're obviously dealing with the older, I would say, more established clientele, you know, versus just the, you know, teenagers and, you know, college students that are doing all the volunteer work. So if you move up into more of the board space and things like that, to help them in these capacities and get to know them, and not just like be like realtor, like just be like more of a servant, you know, kind of help, then I feel that's where they see your genuine heart and what your, you know, goals are to help the community. And then when the time comes, you do sprinkle in that you're in real estate, or talk about like some cool things that are focused on that, or solar, or just some of the vendors that they might actually tie into, or the healthy home stuff, or, you know, that's where you kind of, I put them on my newsletter, and then a lot of people like that, you know, and they follow that, you know, then they see there's real estate in it. But so I've blended now all of the, you know, Smart Living Hawaii stuff with my newsletter. So it's got some real estate and a lot of healthy home and smart, you know, living Hawaii stuff, and events that they can attend and things like that.
Yeah.
So that helps. A newsletter is really good.
A newsletter is high on my list of to-dos. I need to do that. I was just going to ask, the Healthy Home Media newsletter, does it integrate into KV Core?
I don't believe they have it that way. What I've done, which if anybody wants to see how I've done my, I've integrated into KV Core with what I do. And so if anybody wants to learn how to do a newsletter, at least to the way we do it, like if anybody wants to see what our newsletter is like and you like it, I can totally in the future maybe help with teaching someone how to do it. Because once you create a template, then it's like I just use that template and switch out everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I save it and clone it, and then I could share what we do on that for
That'd be
people.
awesome.
And it ties in to make it look pretty. It's like it does take more work, because then you have to tie it in with Canva. So there's things that you can do so it doesn't just look so basic.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. And Kristen, I wanted to thank you for coming. It was nice meeting you. I'd love to have you attend more of these. We do them every Friday, same time, same place, everything, different guest every week.
Thank you. I just happened to check out Workplace and was showing one of my mentees the EXP Climate Action Network site. And then I was like, oh, there's a class coming up in a few minutes. All right, we're done, right?
Yeah. And it sounds like you're pretty involved in green in your community and whatever. We'd love to have you be a guest as well if you'd like to just share what you're doing.
Oh, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting ideas, and I love everything that Christina has presented. And yeah, right now we're still relatively new and trying to organize things, and we've hosted some vendors who supply, going electric with heating and cooling and things like that, all the HVAC stuff, and solar companies and how to integrate that into the house and stuff. So it's not been well attended at this point. We really need to find ways to be more vocal in the community and have people tune in and share the information. But I do like a lot of these other ideas that you have going with sustainable farms or little neighborhood farms and stuff.
Where are you located again?
I'm in the Central Coast, San Luis Obispo.
Oh, okay.
So sadly, I've seen little neighborhood gardens go away, and I want, I want that to reverse. Like, we need more of them, not less of them. So I don't, I'm super busy. I've got a mom I have to care for, and I don't know how I could possibly like drive all of this stuff, but bringing the ideas to the group, maybe we can collectively get something going. So I may want to reach out to you later to get more ideas on how you have managed to start and grow these programs that you do.
Yeah, and it's overwhelming, and I do like way more than I should, I would say probably. I just can't help it. I don't know what's wrong with me, but but at the end of the day, it really is like, don't take on too much. You know what I mean? It's like, really start somewhere that resonates with you. That's like my biggest thing. It's like, just
Right.
start with one group or one place or one, of those areas of focus. And it seems that yours might be energy in that space. And
Well, I'm formerly a marine biologist, so I probably will start like at the ocean and at the beach. That's my zone. But also moving into houses, because now I'm a realtor. I want to be able to, make coastal homes more eco-friendly and not just beautiful.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, Sheila will be a lot of help. And then she's based in San Diego. I did get to meet her after, because I worked with her from almost like the start of her company. And there is a in Encinitas, we both met each other there and met the developer there on Fox Point Farms. So this is another thing that's in the magazine, which is really cool, is she does interview different agri-hood communities and things like that across the country. And so there's just tons of articles. I've got like every single magazine probably up on my smartlivinghawaii.com site. So if you go there and then you go under about, there's like healthy home, you can click on that and it'll open up to the page with like all of the digital forms of all the different magazines. But you can just kind of look through the magazine so you can see like what kind of things they cover. And over time, I've kind of worked with her too. Like when she did the magazines, it's like, I need help with social media. It'd be so good, like along with me sending the link out and having it on my website, if there was like, you made social media posts about the different, articles
Yeah,
in the magazine
I love
that
it.
it roots into. So then she started doing like a whole social media campaign. So now it's like I subscribe, that's separate, but I subscribe to her social media. And so then someone is then putting like my logo and every single post out. So if I don't post because I don't have time to, it's like there's still something scheduled, that there's stuff that's at least being posted,
Yeah.
And then she got into doing even more. She's doing like reels, and she has ways that you can make things more personalized, and it just keeps going. And then she has a lot that she keeps adding to the program that she has. That's why I was saying like she'd be a good speaker down the road, I think, once we get more established. And it really works the best if there's really somebody that adopts her like her package, right, in every region or every zone. Like obviously wouldn't want like everybody in Hawaii having the same thing being put out, but I'm kind of like that person here. And it's like, if there's across the country. So that's why I think XP would be great for her if they're in this space, because it's like countrywide that everybody would be interested in taking it on. So
Yeah, I'm interested. It's on my list. Yeah.
oh, and so there's like some kind of discount she gave me to give to whoever wants to do it. So I think it's like SLHI 50 or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she put it in
$50
the
off memberships. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Cool.
But anyhow, then you could try it out, see if you like it.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I like that there's a digital option as well, because when I heard magazine, I was like, I don't want to just send people more paper. Like we all
No,
get,
and that's why I don't do it.
you know?
I don't do it for that very reason. It would be nice to look at and to have to share with people, but it's just the paper. Like,
Yeah,
to be honest, I
exactly.
mean, we care about the environment, so it's kind of like what else.
I know. So when I saw digital, I was like, yeah, that's good. And then it's like on my list to do a newsletter. So I was like, it all goes together. This is all what I need.
Yeah. So, Kristen, if you send me your info, I'll forward you my newsletter so you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then maybe down the road that could be something we do as in a like a workshop thing where I can at least share like how everybody can go into KV Core and do the same thing. You know what I mean? If they want, you know.
I would love that. You tell me when. We'll do that for a Friday instead of a symposium. We'll do like a special like newsletter workshop because we all need to do it. Let's be honest. Is anyone
Correct.
really doing it as good as they need to be? No.
You could definitely go to KV Core, but I mean, I guess just to focus on like I'll probably focus on like the kinds of things that I put in there.
Yeah.
It does help if you have the magazine, like that would also help too when you don't have content. Like I have a lot of content because of my Eco Rotary. Like I'm putting a lot of events and stuff like that. So if you don't have a lot of content and you want to be pulling articles from the magazine, like that's also something you can do. So you have content.
Yeah. In your
Yes.
newsletter and just like in general, I guess this is just a general question, like, because not all of your clients are into sustainability, right? Like I'm sure you work with clients that are anti-climate. Like, I don't know, like, so how do you, like, is your newsletter going out to everybody regardless of whether this is their jam or not? And like, do you have clients often that are like, I don't want to work with you because you love the planet kind of thing? Or like, how do you distinguish these people?
Well, okay. My stance is so there's definitely different types of people that are like super into the environment, right? I mean, you definitely have like the younger crowd. They're like everybody's gonna be, probably vegan and they do yoga and they're like super into, you know what I mean? Like there's that group, right? And they're like almost like hippie-ish, you know what I mean? Like and maybe they're never going to buy a house. They'll probably live in like a community. So there's those kind of, environment, and a lot of them are very like hardcore, like environmentalists.
Yeah.
And then like I'm faith-based too. So, I also really believe in like stewarding your land and like, if, just, there's just a lot that I, tie into my faith, and it's like a lot of it is giving back to the environment, taking care of what you have, and taking care of people, and providing food. So there's like this other part of sustainability that like of people that are kind of like in that space too. And then there's just people that in Hawaii, most of it, it's just like I just care about my bills, and solar's going to help with that. So whatever it ends up being, like I just focus on that part of sustainability with them. Like if I'm seeing like this person's like, oh my gosh, my electricity bill is like $500-600 a month, then I'm like, okay, well, why don't we start looking for homes that have, net metering or have PV systems, and their electricity bill is XYZ versus the next door is going to be another $400-500 more. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just pivot to whatever it is that the person is. My newsletter, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's really like the first thing I do is like, here's my free Healthy Home magazine. So it doesn't say like scream climate action, like, which I could see might deter people that are like, I don't believe in climate change, right?
Yeah.
Group of people. But everybody wants a healthy home. Like, who's going to say you don't want a healthy home?
Yeah.
So that's my outlet. And that's why I like her magazine. The wellness RE part of it, like that name for me was a little less like, it didn't resonate with like, it seemed like real estate because of the RE. So she made 3 different covers, but the inside is all the same.
Yeah.
So and then there were people that were vendors that wanted to use her magazine that were not realtors. So the Healthy Home that I use, that's the actual like cover that she uses. So I use the non-real estate focused cover that just says Healthy Homes. and there's wellness RE and then wellness home. But I'm more of like, I like healthy homes better than wellness homes. So the wellness and the RE is more real estate focused, but that's just the cover.
Yeah.
So everything inside is all the same. So,
Mhm.
and so maybe that's why, because I have groups where they're full on the yoga hippie people
Mhm.
and then, you know, full on just real estate. So since I merged it all, because I was not going to do two different ones, I just put everybody in my KB core now. Like before, I was like, oh, I should keep it separate. Oh, I should care about, because it was like that when I started. Now it's like, oh no, everybody's just all together and you're just going to get it from me. But most people really like it. Like some people don't see it at all, obviously, because it goes to junk mail. But other people that do, like I've gotten good feedback from people.
Mhm.
And then I throw in all kinds of stuff. I'll, like, if there's a new project that comes on and there's something to do, like it's a LEED certified building, or there's affordable housing, or this new one that's coming up is their, it's the first, it's the most greenest building because they're taking an office building and turning it into a residential in Hawaii. So I'll do blogs, right? Myself, I'll write every now and then on these topics and, you know, get the photos and everything. And then I will have a blog and then a link to the blog. And then I will put that in there too. So I don't just do podcasts, but then I always have my podcast every month. There's just a lot of different spaces, but I don't ever feel that anybody is like, ew, you're
Yeah.
the person or something.
Yeah, totally.
But it's
And
holistic. That's why it's everything. I
Mhm.
don't just focus on the environment and legislation and
Yeah.
like a hardcore environmentalist. It's really a collaborative of everything.
I was just in Washington, D.C. for the NAR legislative conference and the Women's Council mid-year meeting, because I'm the president-elect for Northern Colorado Women's Council. And what I didn't know is the president of Women's Council right now, she's actually like really big into sustainability. I was like, I didn't know that. I need to like be better friends with you, because what? That's really cool. Because I always thought like Women's Council, like you look at who's on the board and you're like, I don't fit in with that, right? And like it's like these, you know, women that go to the country club on the weekend. It just like wasn't me, right? And so then when I saw her, I was like, that's pretty cool that she's like into this just like we are. So I need to like talk to her more about it. So
Yeah. I think everybody's got their own, like my dad is like from Texas and probably like, and I said, Dad, you need to understand that you live in Hawaii and it's beautiful. Do you care about the oceans that you scuba dive in because you love the oceans? Would you like it clean? Like,
yeah.
you know, you may not so much care about, you know, sea level rise. Like that's not
Mhm.
the thing. But are you gonna care that like everything's dying in there and it's all dirty and polluted? And he's like, yes, right? So then like with
Mhm.
someone like my dad, which is probably along those lines, it's like, would you like to breathe like clean air? Like, does that matter to you? Like, I go down the basics, you know, like,
Yeah.
well, like, okay, if you, I just don't go into the whole climate change part of it more. So, like, do you like driving through the water? You know, because it's kind of like a nuisance, you know, like.
Yeah, we're finding if you appeal to their interest in health and saving money, those things matter more than look at all the good I'm doing for the environment, you know, to the greater population. Even though that's, you know, that's your goal. But talk to people where they're at, and health
Yeah.
matters and money matters. And if you can cover all those bases, then you're good.
And even the smart technology now, right? If you're with high performance homes, it's all of the technology that ties into the home to where it's all integrated into each other. So that's a whole nother side to things as well. Like just like being on your phone and like I just like, hey Siri, turn off all lights, you know, oh gosh, wait, don't do it. But you know what I mean? Like being able to do that and all those kinds of things. And it saves electricity. Like all of these things do tie into the environment as well. But that's like another reach where if they're really techie people or they are into that kind of stuff. I mean, there's just so many ways now to just like, how can I get this person? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I love it. Well, cool. Well, thank you for this. This is awesome. I know we went a little bit over, but it was good conversation. It's great.
So, I mean, was very overview. I mean, in the future, if there's anything specific we want to hone in on when the group gets larger to focus on, like, I'll be happy to, if we start picking topics or something, I don't know,
Yeah,
however you want to. Every week is probably gonna, I feel like I don't want you, Katie, to be taxed out, because I've been in a lot of these like startup things and the things that we're doing, like even with our Eco Rotary, we had to finalize like all Rotary clubs meet every once a week. And it's like this. And I had to completely change things around because it's not working. It doesn't work with our demographic. It doesn't work with our age group. Everybody's so busy. It's just like you can't expect everybody to join in. And if it's too committal, like it's just, nobody comes at all. Like, so yeah.
I know. We'll see. I'll let it go a little bit longer. We've only been doing this for, I don't know, a little over a month or something. So month and a half maybe. So I'll keep going for a little bit longer. And if we need to go to like every other week or something, we will. And I don't know, just want guests, and we want more people attending. So if you guys have any like other agents in EXP or agents that you want to come to EXP that are interested in this is a great place to invite them to build community. So yeah, share
I
it with
would
me.
like to brainstorm. Okay, well, my ideal goal, what I wanted to do was to work on the NAR group. Like I have like a text that I send out that I was like, oh, I want to, that are not with EXP, or you know what I mean? Just to find people that are actually have their green designation that is like passionate about like, green space for real. Like they didn't just take it because it was a free course or a cheap course and they needed 12 CE credits and all this cool concept, but that they actually want to put it in practice like us. Like that's what my goal is, but there's a lot of people to go through. So I don't know if anybody wants to work on something like this together and like build, because I've already started. Like my goal is to do this. I even have like a Google Forms sheet that, to get people to fill out their information, and I'll send it to you guys. You guys should be on it. And then like to put a network together, not just our EXP, but like across, the country, because my goal would be to those people might see the work that we're doing here at EXP and then like might want to join or might want to see like, my dream would be like, oh, if Smart Living Hawaii could be elsewhere, if they want to start, that brand in their town, like that would be cool. Like if they have a template to work off of, I could help them, I don't know, whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It could go so much more because EXP reaches agents in that capacity. I don't know. It hasn't done that before.
I started a Facebook group, and you're welcome to join it and invite your people and use that as a community if you'd like, but it's Green Real Estate Collective. And so my first purpose for that was to have green agents that aren't with EXP or are with EXP, everyone just together to have kind of a Facebook group to collaborate in like that. Very slow growing. So please do add people to it. But I would love to have you in there, and feel free to like post and invite people and ask questions or whatever. Cause I saw sometimes like in the like big, nationwide Facebook groups for real estate, like, Lab Coat or all those like big ones. Like someone was asking a question about like how to properly market a home with solar panels. And I was like, here we are, folks. Like, this is what we're here for. So I like, found some people on there through that post, but I was like, there's people out there that want a group like this that are, interested in that, but don't even know that agents like us exist. So anyways, I created that. Feel free to join and invite your people. And,
I'm on Facebook, and I entered Green Real Estate Collective, and it's not coming up.
Well, let's figure that out. It exists. It's just small. So it's probably not even populating because it's like, we're so small.
Okay.
Here, I'll put in the link.
What is it called again?
Green Real Estate Collective. I put it in the chat.
Oh.
I'm just putting it on my phone. Oh, I
might have added you to it already, Christina.
It says private.
Okay, I just joined.
Cool. Yeah, it's private, and then I'll approve you once I get the notification, whatever that is.
Oh, it says it's not allowing me to add because I'm on my. I have to go to my personal page in order to join. That's okay. I know I have Smart Living Hawaii business one, and then I have my nonprofit, and then I have my personal one, and then I have to help with my Eco Rotary, and then I have to help with
I
my
know.
church. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I know.
That's
Same.
why I don't have time to post for myself because
Yep.
okay, I'll look it up too, but maybe I am on it. I don't know. Green. What was it called again? Shoot. Green
Green
to-
Real Estate Collective and
Green
Real
what?
Estate
Real estate.
Collective. Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll look it up. Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Well, awesome. It was great meeting you, Kristen, and talking to you some more, Christina, and Christina's mom, and and hopefully we'll see you guys next week. I think John is going to be the guest next week, and then after that, we're looking for guests. So if you have anyone, let me know.
Okay.
I might.
Awesome. Cool. See you guys.
Bye.